My name's James Luce.
And what do you do?
For money?
For love.
For love? Well, I mess around with trees a lot. To be in this noble fir stand is remarkable in a lot of ways. I spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest in the big trees and the forest, but noble fir of this quality I've never seen. And to be in a stand, there's a feel to it. It just, we've got a remarkable day and we've got fall light. It's amazing from that standpoint, but the spacing of the trees and gives you this feeling of a cathedral, just the big columns of trees. And mixed in with them, we can see the other ones. There's Douglas fir in here and a few hemlocks, but the noble fir are just dominating the stand. We've got a beautiful day where we got the sunlight filtering in, fall day, and the whole open, easy to walk understory is this vanilla leaf that we've got right here. And it's got this golden light to it that's showing this time of year. It's just beautiful. And you can see farther through the stand than you can in a lot of our forest stands, which is different too. It adds to that feel, and people talk about it as a park-like feel, and it is somewhat, because it's also relatively flat here, which adds to that feel. A lot of big downwood, a lot of big standing dead trees, and which are home for a lot of other organisms as well, all contributing to the feel of the forest. The term we use is, we call it pioneering. It's the first one up the tree. So it's a tree that hasn't been climbed, there's no line in it, you set an access line and you pioneer it to the top. And what I love about climbing unmanaged forest, where they've had a chance to grow, is the feel that you get. So first you go up and there's no branches at all, and you're just climbing a line in space, for the first, 40, 50 meters in these trees. And then you get into the canopy, and then the field changes. And then one of my favorite views is really just before you enter the canopy, of looking at the big stems all around. And you can see the forest floor, and if you can see parts of your team out there, and little clumps of deer adding color to the scene, whatever. But then you get you usually have a point where you can't see a lot because you're in the canopy, and then you break out into the emergent part of the crown. And as we're up in there, then you really start seeing what's going on in the forest stand at a different scale. You get to see the goat march, you can see the mountains around, you get the broad view, but you're also starting to go, wow, okay, well, there's a lot of dead tops over there. What's going on? This tree has a dead top. Well, there's standing dead over there. Oh, I can see over there where a big landslide actually ripped through the gully. So you get this perspective that you don't get from the ground. And I really like to just stop and take it in. Like, even when we're working as pros, sometimes we forget to just stop a minute and take it in. You're so focused on the project. And it just, I don't know, for me it brings back more things to learn and more things to feed me when I'm in the city. I think back to where I first started remembering things in my stream of life consciousness. So we moved a little bit, so I kind of can fix places by age from where we live. So I remember we moved from one place back on the East Coast when I was 5, and I remember all the trees in the neighborhood. I remember climbing them. I remember where the bushes were. And I've always just been drawn to trees, like climbing out the window to get out of the house, out of the second story down the tree when you're 4 or 5 years old. And I think it's pretty natural for kids to climb. Then professionally I got into horticulture. I was a gardener and a horticulturist, and trees are part of that. But I already had experience in mountaineering, rock climbing, offshore sailing. So the learning with ropes and that part of it really just seemed like a natural thing to do. And then as the deeper I got into it, I realized, wow, I can actually make a living with trees. And I put myself full time into trees, and that was quite a while ago. working with trees and trying to be an advocate of trees, because I like them, and we, as arborists, we do a lot of nasty things to trees. And once you're not so hungry that you'll take any job, you can start taking the choices of educating people and going, no, I don't want to do that for you because it's not a good thing. Doesn't mean they won't find somebody else, but at least you can do the education along the way and make your own choices. I had a little lesson I learned working. First climb I did when I went to work for the municipality where I worked for a long time as an arborist. And it was a big Doug fir in a developed site over playgrounds, and the task was just cutting off some big storm damaged limbs and lowering them down. So all excited for a nice big climb, show them what I got. Did the whole climb, and I came down, and the chap that was working with me, older guy, says, "How was the view?" And I had never stopped once in my eagerness to do the task to enjoy the view, and that really stuck with me. For work too, it's like you get up there, shut it down for a minute and just take it in.